Today is all about N cars. I'm talking Hyundai N cars. If you're a sports car enthusiast, I'm sure you're familiar with the Hyundai N cars, not to be mistaken with their N line, which is a sportier trim of a certain model. But the N really signifies the top performance area of Hyundai, and they really have squeezed as much performance and drivability out of these cars. So take, for example, this Elantra N. On the outside, it definitely does look different. It's sportier for sure. I love this gray color, and it has nice contrast with that signature red that flows along the bottom. You have a different front valence. On the side, you have 19-inch alloys wrapped with performance Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. No all seasons here. This thing is made to perform. Behind there, you have a larger N specific brakes. You see badging on the front, on the side here as well. And if you go over to the rear, you have a pretty substantial deck wing. That's gonna give you a little bit more downforce. You have a different valence, but the best part in the rear for me is those two large diameter exhaust tips. Get some really good growls and grumbles out of this 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It just sounds really, really good. If you don't want it that loud, no problem, you can turn it off as well. On the inside, you have sport seats, you have an N gear shifter. This comes with a digital cockpit. On the steering wheel, you'll notice some additional N buttons, and that's gonna really help transform this car if you really wanna get the most out of it. Sometimes you don't want all of that though. So what's powering it? Well, we mentioned it's a 2-liter 4-cylinder. You have 276 horsepower, 289 pound-feet of torque. That's almost double the horsepower as what comes in the standard Elantra. This is an entirely different vehicle than the regular Elantra. Everything's beefed up. You have more braces on it, so stiffer, once again, the larger brakes, and it's matched to an 8-speed wet dual clutch transmission that kicks really hard if you really want it, or a 6-speed manual transmission. And the best thing about the manual transmission, first of all, it's always fun rolling your own gears, but it also has the capability to auto rev match for you. So for people that aren't really good at heel and toe shifting, this thing is going to make you look look like a pro and sound like a pro when you're driving it as well. The N also comes with different N pages in the software, so you can adjust it however you want. Plus you have launch control, and you even have tracks built in to the system. You also get an electronic limited slip diff as well as adaptive suspension. And one of the most amazing things about the N, well, part of the N stands for Nürburgring. That's where this thing has been tuned. So it's basically track ready. So let's go to the track. Hey everybody, you know, last year we tested a lot of vehicles, but there was one that really stood out in terms of fun factor, and we really said it was the funnest car of 2021, and that was the Hyundai Veloster N. Well, today we're at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Check it out. Helmet hair, that's the best hairstyle ever, and we have two. We have the Kona N and the Elantra N, and we're gonna take it on to the big Grand Prix track here. We're here with Brody Goebel. Not only is he a Formula Drift driver, a Trans Am winner now. Yeah. You know, we're on the big Grand Prix circuit, and man, we've been driving both the Elantra Ns and the Kona Ns. We are back into the Kona. We have the 8-speed dual clutch transmission. We're gonna head out. Okay, off we go.
So we have you in our custom 1 setting right now. So it's going to be everything pretty well in race mode essentially. So we call it Sport Plus, with the exception of traction control. You could technically turn it off to go to 1 step further, but we have the traction control here in Sport.
This has the adaptive suspension as well.
Yeah, you know, it really makes a huge difference. You'll notice they've really stiffened this car up to combat, you know, a higher center of gravity. It is, you know, kind of a little crossover SUV, right? So it's kind of funny. You're out here, you forget that it actually is an SUV.
And that's one thing that I said when we were driving the Elantra as well, is that you gotta love it when a manufacturer is that confident in their product that they're going to bring you to a big track and drive a SUV on the track. So I'm going to shut up for a little bit because I'm going to concentrate on driving. This is one of the fastest tracks in North America.
I think it is the fastest track in North America, and last I heard it was the second fastest track, average speed-wise, in the world.
We're going uphill on the back straight, and it's steep. We are hitting basically, whoa, man.
Yeah, fifth gear up over the rise here.
Fifth gear over the riser.
I'll keep an eye on it, yeah.
200 kilometers an hour in this little Kona N.
Chasing down the Elantra right now, and I think you're putting some time into him. You're closing in.
So I have it on just auto right now. You could actually manually shift the gears, but it's doing a really good job anyways.
Yeah, I did a few laps around here in just auto just to test it out. And some cars, they kind of don't know what's going on in auto mode. They get stuck between gears. They downshift a little bit too aggressively sometimes, and you feel like some vehicles, they get a little bit lost on what gear they essentially should be on. And this vehicle actually is super smart that way. I never felt it being, you know, obtrusive or doing anything different than what I would normally command through the paddles. So that was really nice to see.
What a track though. So what is the biggest thing that surprises you about both of these vehicles?
I think the playfulness and the confidence that Hyundai had in essentially like their alignment settings to make these things rotate and not just push. That's my biggest takeaway from this event. You know, I don't solely exclusively work for Hyundai. I work for all different manufacturers, and it's a lot more fun to drive than I would expect. I mean, I don't drive many front-wheel drive race cars. I've actually never driven any front-wheel drive race cars. I don't drive many front-wheel drive street cars on the track. So I kind of didn't have the highest hopes coming into this, to be honest. I was like, oh, it's a front-wheel drive car. But it's really, it's a car that I feel like you could almost drift around some of these corners just in sheer momentum if you turned off the systems. And it certainly doesn't feel like a front-wheel drive car. It has that electronic front diff in it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't torque steer either. It's pretty impressive how quick it is to make those decisions on how much power to send to each wheel. And it's a lot of fun, yeah.
Everything is stock that we're on this vehicle right now. The tires are stock.
Yep.
They're performance tires, but they're stock.
They're the same tire pressure that's recommended for the street right now. Like, we're not doing anything different here.
We have stock brakes, which are a little bit bigger. The rotors are bigger and the ventilated rotors compared to the N line, but also...
Yeah, turn in early, keep turning, yep, good. Nice and smooth over this crest here. Keep going, keep going. Don't touch that brake, yep, perfect. And accelerate off. Nice. That's the quickest you've gone through that corner.
Really?
Just trusting it, right?
It definitely helps when we have a professional driver in the right seat.
Couple laps here, yeah. And accelerate, keep accelerating, use up all that track, yep, excellent. Again, another corner here, just trust it, don't get to the brakes too much here. Okay, off the brake, turn in, and just balance it on the throttle.
Oh yeah. It's all a balance game.
Yeah. There you go. A little bit of brakes here, yeah, getting those tucked in, good.
There, that was good.
Nice.
We scrubbed a lot, but we kept some speed up there. As I was saying, these brakes, they're single piston calipers, but you've been lapping for 2 days now. We're not even actually doing cool down laps.
Nope.
There's no fade, they're super solid.
It's a big single piston though, you know, like it's not just a small single piston, but it's a big single piston. And yeah, clearly they got figured out. You know, the motor setup is basically the exact same in their TCR race cars that they're racing in a couple days here at the track. So, and I mean, obviously those cars are put through the ringer, and And yeah, last race down Watkins Glen, Robert Wickens and Mark Wilkins won the race. So pretty cool to have that momentum coming into our journalist event here.
It just settles into place so easy.
Yeah, you can feel it. It actually takes a set. Like, it actually rotates and takes the set. Doesn't feel too on edge here. So yeah, keep carrying that speed, nice and smooth on the steering. There you go, nice. Back to the throttle. Let it flow all the way to the outside. Good. Oh, you're getting comfy now.
No, only
There you
because
go.
of your instruction. Purely because of your instruction. I'm just a robot.
I'm driving from the right seat.
You're pretty
that's
well.
a lot of pressure. Turn in, yeah, back to the throttle. Yeah. Nice, there you go. Back to the throttle. And again, we're in an SUV.
I know.
Crazy.
You know, the last time I drove this track, I was in a 911 GT2 RS. It had like 700 plus horsepower. And you know what? It just really goes to show that you don't need 700 horsepower and, you know, $250,000 to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is just as fun, if not more fun, because I'm not so scared of wrecking a $250,000 car either.
Yeah, at least we can find the limit a little bit easier. I mean, some of those
Exactly.
cars, it is so difficult and so dangerous to find the limits of them. They're so fast now.
Yeah.
But at least this, you can feel like you're extracting everything out of the car, which actually gives you a little bit more confidence when you're driving.
Oh, for
to
sure.
feel that you're doing a better job.
It's easier to overdrive a car.
It is, yeah.
Let's use all the power up.
Yeah, it's really changed my mind on the product before I got here, right? So these are my first track laps with the car as well. I was just like, holy crap, wasn't expecting that.
Oh yeah, look.
Like, the balance is so good.
It really is. I don't know which one I prefer. Elantra or this one?
I think you're driving this one harder. We'll see on the next Elantra drive we do. You just got more laps under your belt now.
I know.
Just remember, we're carrying this much speed, just be real gentle on that steering. Perfect.
Yep.
No abrupt movements with the feet or the hands. I think you're having some fun.
I know. Well, you really get to feel what this car is doing, and it just makes it so much more enjoyable.
How do you find the steering? So this is in like the, you know, the Sport Plus mode essentially, which is actually puts a fair bit of weight into that steering wheel, which is nice.
It's really good. It's really good. It's decent.
Here, let me make a quick change here.
The shifts are hard though.
I know. I'm gonna do steering. I'm gonna put the steering in normal just for the last couple corners here, since we're already done anyways.
Okay.
And just see if it makes any difference here, but it should lighten the steering quite a bit.
Oh yeah, it even does. I can tell the difference.
Just down the straight even, yeah.
What setting are we in?
Let's double click, see if that left one goes to custom one there. Do this one here. There you go, custom one.
Ooh.
There we go. So everything's kind of maxed out here.
This feels faster.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's really well suited to this track. It's just that little bit lower wheel center of gravity and longer wheelbase. Bodes well for a track like Mosport that's so high speed and flowing.
Almost hit that drone.
Yeah. It's been a couple times. I've been out here today. I'm like, man, those guys are aggressive.
The shifts are so aggressive even for downshifting. It's great.
Yeah, and that's in that Sport Plus mode, right? So it's really making it quick there. You can try pressing that NGS, the boost.
This one?
There, one below, the big red button. Yeah, press that.
There we go.
So now that gives us 20 seconds here. You got an extra 10 horsepower. And when you shift, 1 second, all the way up. And you'll notice the shifts are a little crisper, a little faster again.
It's like a push to pass.
It is, yeah. Little nitrous button. Yeah.
It takes a little getting used to coming from the Kona into this one.
Yep.
Everything's a little bit different.
It certainly feels different. So really try not to touch the brake after turn in here. Yep, perfect.
Oh yeah, the longer wheelbase is quite rewarding. It's nice. It's not quite as twitchy.
Yep. You'll notice the suspension isn't quite as stiff in this car either, and that's just because it has a lower center of gravity. So on that Kona, like, you're really trying to keep that thing upright and the body roll to a minimum, and the only way to kind of do that in that style of an SUV is to really go stiff on the dampening, right? So it is electronic and adjustable, at least in that Kona, so on the softer comfort setting, it is livable around town, but on that Sport Plus, it's pretty aggressive.
We got the N grin shift again.
Another boost.
Going up the big back straight hill. It's a big hill.
It is, yeah. Oh yeah, we're going a little quicker here for sure. 203. Nicely done, Brian.
Getting there, I'm getting there, but
yep.
You know what? Just when you feel a little too confident, that's when you screw up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so, you know, it just comes back so easily.
It's quite progressive when it comes out too.
It really is. But I like how it actually lets you step out that much.
Yeah. And that's in that ESC Sport. There's really no substitute. There's no street drive you can ever do to get a good repeatable feel, right? I mean, yeah, there's a couple corners you can find here or there, but how many times are they perfectly prepared, and you can then just redo them over and over and over and really feel the difference and get your limit, you know, up to speed and figure it out, right? There's no substitute to track driving.
No, and this is such a great track. And we put in a lot of laps today.
Yeah, that's 205, almost 206.
We're in, right?
Yep. I appreciate that, Brian. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, I really appreciate the instruction, man.
Always good to hop in right seat with you.
Lots of fun. Okay, what did you think of that? I'm telling you, these N cars are the real deal. I said it last year. That Veloster N, most fun car for 2021. For 2022, these are the top now. Elantra N and Kona N, which one would I pick? I'd probably go for the Elantra N. It's just, it has a little bit of a smoother ride for the suspension, the longer wheelbase, and it's a little bit bigger, and the price is really, really good. Starting at $39,000 Canadian for the manual transmission, a little bit more for that dual clutch transmission, but for under 40 grand, you are getting a lot of car. And as I mentioned in our track review, this was completely stock, nothing different. You know, regular air pressures, regular tires, regular brakes, and we drove these things hard. And you know what? I said it before, I'm gonna say it again, it doesn't really matter how fast you get to 60 or what the top speed is. It's all about the big smile factor. Yes, there's that NGS, you know, button, that grin shift button. I don't even know if that's even necessary. You know, they should call it the extra grin shift because you're already grinning when you're driving this vehicle. If you have never driven an N car, you know, you can't say anything about it. Go ahead, go out, drive one, especially if you could actually get an opportunity to drive one on the track like we did. I challenge you to come back, leave a comment below and say that you didn't have fun and that this car wasn't super, super capable on or off the track. And that's why I think, you know, it's like you're getting two cars for the price of one. So it's under 40 grand, you're getting two cars because on the street, hey, it's comfortable, you got the adaptive suspension, you don't have to make it gurgle and rumble and everything else like that, but you hit a couple buttons, really easy, and this thing turns into beast mode and is ready to go. And either way, you're gonna have a big, big grin on your face. All right, so I just saved you some money. I'm giving you two cars for the price of one. The least you can do, hit that subscribe button if you haven't, hit that like button as well. We'll see you on the next Everyday Review. Cheers.